and today we're reacting to Mourinho hates lazy wingers until he saw Michael Olise. Let's get straight into it.
Why would Real Madrid sign a winger who's missing the one thing that matters most? Speed. Mbappe is faster than Olise. Vinicius is faster than Olise. So what?
Mbappe is obviously faster than Michael Olise, but that doesn't matter. Olise's got more technical skill.
Why do Florentino Perez and Jose Mourinho want Olise?
Bro, imagine Michael Olise, Kylian Mbappe, and Vinicius Jr. the front three for Real Madrid. That's actually nasty. That's the best front three ever, because Michael Olise, right wing, there's really no other player that compares to Michael Olise at right wing. The only player that does is Lamine Yamal, and Real Madrid can't buy Lamine Yamal, so the next best option is to buy Michael Olise. You can't go wrong, bro. And him and Mbappe play on France together already, so they already have that connection. You know it's going to work out. And Michael Olise is a player that will do the hard work. He will run. He will track back. So it will complement Mbappe and Vinicius and the whole team in general.
Olise so badly. Real Madrid was the most dangerous counter-attacking team in the world. Olise is not Vinicius Jr. He doesn't destroy fullbacks with raw explosiveness over 50 meters like Gareth Bale. And that's exactly what Madrid doesn't have. But that's not the main reason Florentino Perez wants him, right?
Bro, Real Madrid used to have a nasty right wing, Gareth Bale. And honestly, since Gareth Bale has been out, hasn't really been, really solidified, and nobody's really solidified that position. But Rodrigo did have his moments. Rodrigo had those big appearances, those big goals against Manchester City, the 2 goals in like stoppage time to make them win the game, and then they won the Champions League that year. So Rodrigo really did his thing on the right wing. Never forget that. But yeah, they should buy a Galactico for that position because, Mbappe, Vinny, you need somebody on the right to balance it out.
Right wing is the hole in Madrid's squad right now, and without a left-footed right winger cutting inside, Real Madrid is playing on half a pitch, and that is where Michael Olise comes in. But why Michael Olise specifically? The answer lies in something most people miss. Florentino Perez doesn't just buy players, he buys status and power. For him, a player who says yes right away is good business, but a player who turns him down...
Bro, you can't reject Real Madrid. Mbappe literally was like playing games with Real Madrid, signing contracts at PSG, staying 1 more year. Bro, he could have gone to Real Madrid the year before, but instead he ran down his contract and then went for free. And there also was a year, bro, he could have went to Saudi. I think it was the 1 year. It was like he could have went to Saudi for literally 1 year, made 700 million, and then went to Real Madrid. Insane.
Questions the very greatness of Real Madrid. How can a player reject the biggest club in the world? Mbappe played that game with Real for years. He chose PSG, signed new contracts, and rejected the royal white shirt. Perez has always had a weakness for players who prove their worth against his own club. Now the same pattern is repeating with Olise, but Mourinho has his own reason. Olise is one of the few players...
That is true, bro. Michael Olise has that playmaker badge, just like Lamine Yamal. From that right wing, it's a very like specific archetype. Right wing, left foot, playmaker, dangerous.
In Europe who can create a counter from a complete standstill. Since Toni Kroos retired and Modric slowed down, Madrid has been missing the player who changes the rhythm of an entire match with a single pass. The last time Real had this kind of player was Angel Di Maria, and Di Maria was Mourinho's signing. But why would Mourinho return to Real Madrid? One of the biggest reasons is defensive control, and that tells you exactly why he refuses to give up on Michael Olise.
Look at how he straight away he knows that Kylian Mbappe.
Bro, Michael Olise can put in that work defensively. Oh my goodness, bro. You will never see Mbappe run and track back just like that, bro. Real Madrid need more players like that.
He's sprinting. Look at him. He's disturbing Kylian Mbappe.
So why?
Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And drop if you think Michael Olise deserves to go to Real Madrid or not. And how much money will he go for? Because Perez said he's going to spend 150 million plus on a Galactico guaranteed this summer. And he wants Michael Olise. But will Bayern choke up and give them what they want? Because Bayern don't need to sell Michael Olise at all, bro. Honestly, Bayern should keep him because Bayern want to win the Champions League. And how are you going to win the Champions League if you're selling your best players to your rivals who are literally better than you?
This is crucial for Real Madrid, because if you think Olise only brings dribbling, you're wrong. Mourinho won't solve Madrid's defensive problem just by signing new center backs and fullbacks. Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. are luxury wingers out of possession. Their defensive work mostly comes down to occasional pressing on the center backs. In Kompany's high-risk system, Olise is trusted to drop back with discipline and help his fullback, and that is exactly why Kompany gives him so much freedom going forward.
Do you have the freedom when you are on the ball to go and dribble and create?
Yeah, the coach wants me to beat my man, to play, to shoot, to do what I want to do. So I'd say I have the freedom in that sense to play.
And that's exactly what you want to hear from your coach, bro. As an attacker, honestly, any position, bro, you just want your coach to just trust you and just let you do your thing, bro, you know? Because if you make a mistake, it's on you, bro. You feel me? You don't need a coach to just get on your back. You know if you made a mistake or not, bro, you know? If you have standards for yourself, if you set the bar high for yourself, bro, you make a mistake, you know that you made the mistake. You feel me?
And that's why Henry's words aren't just a compliment, they're a warning. Mourinho sees something in Olise that is extremely rare. A superstar who doesn't ask the system to adapt to him. Mbappe can attack space, Vinicius can destroy a fullback, but who between them controls the rhythm? The balance doesn't exist. And that's where Olise stops being a transfer. He becomes the solution, because Mourinho isn't trying to build a prettier Madrid. He's trying to build a Madrid that doesn't fall apart the moment it loses the ball. A dribbler sees the opponent in front of him. Olise sees the entire pitch behind him, and that's exactly why he's dangerous. And then they saw him in the moment when the match was no longer football. It was
Michael Olise is a completely different winger than Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. is way more direct, explosive, fast, and he's not really, you know, as like elegant on the ball as Michael Olise, who's elegant. He's got the vision, and he's calm and composed under pressure. But who do I like more? Honestly, I like Michael Olise's playing style way better. Vinicius Jr., his playing style was better, bro, when he was younger, bro. When he was young at Real Madrid, when he was at like Flamengo, he was like way more exciting to watch because he actually like beat his man every single time, bro. It was like just like quick and explosive and so fast. Now it's like his conversion rate with his 1v1s is like 30%, 20%. It's not really that good, bro. I mean, the World Cup, he's been kind of doing his thing, but Michael Olise is way more fun to watch, bro. He reminds me of that Lamine Yamal, you know, those left-footed players that can just cut in, that can just change direction and just so effortless when they play, bro. I love that, bro. Remember watching it, bro, Crystal Palace, he scored that banger against United, bro.
Panic. They're hunting the player who personally knocked them out of the Champions League. From that second, a front opened between Munich and Madrid, unlike anything these two clubs have ever had. Madrid and Bayern were never just rivals. They were business partners who respected each other's status. So where did the respect between these two clubs go? The front didn't open with Olise. It all started with Alphonso Davies. Instead of coming to negotiate with Bayern like they used to, they started taking players behind their back. Bayern is now using Olise to draw a line and tell Perez, this is where your power ends. And while they fight over him, Olise just scored a hat trick for France. The impressive part isn't the hat trick itself. The impressive part is how he took the keys to the national team. Have you ever noticed that after every World Cup...
Oh my goodness. Jeez, I didn't even notice that, bro. That is possible, bro. Michael Olise 100% can go to Real Madrid. It's only if Bayern are willing to sell him, bro. It's obviously that's how business works. But the Bayern Munich guy, the owner, the president, he literally said, "What worth does it do to our fans if we have another 200 million in the bank if we're playing worse football on the pitch?" Because Bayern Munich win the league every single season, bro. They win the league every single season. So winning the league is not their goal. Their goal is to win the Champions League. In order to win the Champions League, you need the best players in the world. You need a great squad. So why are you going to sell your best players to your rivals who won the Champions League probably like 3 times more than you have? You know? Doesn't make sense. And the Bayern Munich are really trying to be that club. They're trying to be like the PSG, go back to back. They cannot sell Olise at any means necessary. They can't, bro. Because like, who are they going to buy? They could buy some other players, but like, bro, Olise is there. He's proven, and they were this close to beating PSG. Remember that.
Real Madrid signs the biggest star of the tournament. Is that how Perez sees Olise? Because Olise is not a normal player, and nobody has explained why yet.
Michael Olise.
He plays simple, but simple is difficult.
Perfectly. He plays simple, but simple is difficult.
Olise is a mutation in the modern game. On paper, Bayern wasn't looking for a new position. The numbers were good until Olise raised the ceiling with 88 goal contributions in 107 matches. Who's responsible for this change? Vincent Kompany, a product of the Guardiola school. And Kompany makes a move nobody expected. Instead of another sprint.
Bro, don't make it seem like Vincent Kompany handpicked Michael Olise, bro. A lot of clubs were going for him, bro. He was a talent in the Premier League that people were watching him for years, bro. Manchester United were this close to buying him. This close to buying him. He literally agreed contracts with United, and out of nowhere, Bayern Munich put more money on the table, Champions League on the table, and he went there.
He decides to put a player on the right wing who will deliver 19 assists in the Bundesliga while looking like he's running in second gear. This might be
just trash, bro. That's how United just lose all of our transfer targets, bro, because we're not willing to actually give them the money that they deserve.
Olise's most powerful weapon. The football world is obsessed with acceleration, but it forgets about the break. Olise's greatest physical gift isn't how he starts, it's how he stops. When he carries the ball in second gear, he puts the defender to sleep, and that's his trap, because that's how he adjusts the defender to his own rhythm.
Bro, this guy's it's like breaking it down so poetically and elegantly, bro. It's honestly perfect, bro. And Lamine Yamal plays the exact same way, bro. Slows him down and then speeds up. Slows him down, changes the direction. Back, forth, side to side.
Then, out of that slowness, he makes a sudden burst. The defender simply falls away, and that opens the space for those 19 assists. Kompany publicly compares him to Kevin De Bruyne. And
no, bro. How is Olise even close to Kevin De Bruyne? What? That's a terrible player comparison. Terrible, bro. What? The only thing that you can say is, oh, they're both good at passing, but that's not a good comparison at all, bro. They don't even play the same position.
Kompany isn't some random manager. He saw that De Bruyne was never fast, but every single touch was a touch that decides a match. And here's something Perez isn't counting on. Olise has already rejected the richest club on the planet once in his career. When even Luis Enrique noticed him, it brings us right back to that question. Why is Michael Olise so special? To understand why Olise rejects the biggest clubs, you have to go back to the moment when they were rejecting him. Spent 7 years at Chelsea, even had a taste of Manchester City, but the ending was always the same. England's elite didn't know what to do with him. But that's not the most important part. The most important part is what he did next. He didn't quit football. Reading was not a romantic stop, but it was the place where Olise became a professional. At 17, he was thrown into the fire of the championship. He gains structure without the ball, starts defending, and learns how to win in the mud. And what he built in Reading wasn't a footballer. It was a brain. That's why Thierry Henry would later...
Bro, Michael Olise really started from the very, very bottom of the championship. I feel like players in the championship are built different because they have to, develop the defensive side of the game, physical side of the game a lot faster and, better. And then the other parts of the game, come with time. And it's like, Olise, he came from there, bro. So when he goes to Real Madrid, he's not going to just, he's not going to just, stop working hard, stop defending, tracking back like he just did for Bayern Munich. Like, that's exactly why Mourinho wants him, because he's a hard worker.
Say that Olise plays football with his brain, not his eyes.
Michael Olise is a different player. He sees the game, as I mentioned, more often than not with his brain.
But there was one thing the brain couldn't fix, the body. His legs started to fail. 3 hamstring tears in 2 seasons at Crystal Palace. Then Oliver Glasner arrives and changes everything. Why is Glasner the turning point? Glasner was the first manager to recognize that Olise is not a winger. He moved him off the touchline into the half.
He played him he played him as a cam, and then he had big boy Eze with him, bro. This duo was just nasty, bro. Olise and Eze
space and built the system around him. And then he gave him a partner, Eberechi Eze, and Olise played football like they grew up on the same street. Palace stopped being a Premier League team and became a problem nobody could solve. The club that released him at 14 is chasing him 6 years later for £35 million. Every major outlet in the world reports the deal is done, but Olise turns them down stone cold. Bayern reacted like a club that sees what others hadn't yet turned into a priority. Vincent Kompany knew exactly what he was missing. And then the numbers confirmed what Kompany saw. In the 2024-25 season, Olise was the outright leader across all 5 European leagues in progressive passes into the box. 70 in a single season, a number that beats every midfield.
Damn, bro, those stats are insane, bro.
midfielder on the continent. But what happened to the injuries at Bayern? Because at Crystal Palace, Olise didn't have a problem with talent. He had a problem with continuity, a player who couldn't stay fit, and that's exactly why the big clubs weren't looking away from him. And then, in the most brutal rhythm of his career, he becomes the player who is always there, not as a protected project, but as one of the main players in the squad, and without a major injury breaking the story like it did at Palace. The hamstring doesn't break when you
This guy's so poetic, bro. The hamstring doesn't stop when it tears.
stand still, it breaks when you explode. When you start, stop, change direction, and start again. And that's Olise's football. Bayern didn't take a player without risk. They took the player everyone else was treating as a risk, and they removed the last doubt from his body. Why would they sell him now? But here's the problem Bayern cannot solve: the World Cup, because Bayern can control the training. They can control the minutes. But France has a tournament, the pressure of an entire nation. And that's why the World Cup isn't just a reward for Olise's form. It's the most dangerous test of his transformation. At Bayern, the answer was clear. He can do it if the system around...
Nah, bro. He'll be able to lock in for this World Cup. I guarantee you, bro. I guarantee Olise is going to have a big World Cup. He's going to help France make the final. I'm saying it right now, bro. France is going to make the final. They have too much talent. Mbappe, Olise, Doué. You feel me? They have too much talent out there. Yeah, we'll see France in the final. Olise, he might even win the Golden Boot or Player of the Season.
Around him is precise enough. The World Cup is the removal of the protective layer. Bayern gave him continuity. France gives him the stage, and the World Cup asks only one question: can Olise become the player?
Imagine, bro. Mbappe is the king of France right now, bro. What if Olise takes the throne from him for this World Cup, takes the pressure off of Mbappe's shoulders, and then Olise signs with Real Madrid and does the same? Yeah, what number would Olise wear at Real Madrid? Because I'm assuming they would have to sell one of their wingers. They're not selling Rodrigo. Mastantuano, probably loan him out, maybe. Brahim Diaz, they're not going to sell him, I don't think.
Who makes France stop depending on Mbappe alone? And Perez is watching all of it. On one side, the player he needs. On the other, the player already waiting for him in Madrid. And between them, a World Cup that will give the answer no transfer can.
Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and see you in the next video. Nesco wins. We out of here.